Hello, manifestors. I thought I would do a little manifesting technique series so you'll get to know better what those techniques are and you will get to know better Neville Goddard's teaching as well. Because there are not that many manifesting channels that really teach Neville Goddard's teaching. And to me, when it comes to manifesting, nobody has invented anything. Even if they say it's not a Neville Goddard's teaching channel, whatever they teach comes from Neville anyhow. So we might as well be honest and tell people where it's coming from. So today we are going to talk about the I remember when technique, which is a technique you are using all the time, but sometimes the wrong way. So let's talk about this today. If you are new here, please subscribe, like the video, comment, share the video if you can, so more people like you can learn to become master manifestors. My name is Sylviane. I am a manifesting coach. I do one-on-one coaching and email coaching. I have a podcast based on the law of assumption, the teaching of Neville Goddard, every Tuesday on all the podcast platforms. I also have a blog every Thursday. And I have a free Facebook group. It's a private group, but it's free, and a VIP paid group where I do a Q&A live every Wednesday. And Andreza, who is a wonderful coach in my team, is creating knockout challenges to improve your manifesting skills. And all the links are down below this video in the description box. So first of all, let it be clear that in order to manifest your desire, you do not need any techniques, as I said in a previous video recently. All you need in order to manifest is assuming that it is yours, believing that it is yours. And as a matter of fact, no matter what technique you are using right now, if you do not have your desire after a while, it's because you do not believe that your desire is yours. This is the only reason. However, why techniques are great, it's because they are helping us to believe. They are helping us to feel it real. And that's why we are using techniques. And I think it's important to remind you this in case you forgot, in case you don't know. Before you try any techniques, it's important that you remember what really manifests. It's not the technique, it's your belief. Okay? So now this said, let's talk about the I remember when technique. So first of all, it's important to know where this I remember when techniques come from. And yes, like I said, it's coming from Neville Goddard, but it came to him in the form of a revelation. He said in his lecture, I remember when, of 1968, when I receive a great revelation concerning the creative power of God, I cannot keep it to myself, but must share it with all that will listen. Here is one I received many years ago. I found myself in spirit in the interior of a stately mansion in New York City. It was kind of a home the great financial giant lived in at the turn of the century. Fully awake and aware, I was visible to the three generations who were present. The son spoke to his grandchildren, saying, "Your grandfather would stand on an empty lot and say, 'I remember when this was an empty lot.' Then he would paint a word picture of his desire for that lot so vividly that those who heard him could see it completed right before their eyes. This is the grandfather who made the fortune we are now enjoying." So, believe it or not, you are using the I remember when technique a lot, every day. The problem is that you are remembering the good times, which implies that right now, what you are living in, it's not good. So you are using the technique in reverse. You are using the technique against your desire, so to speak. I see this a lot with my clients. When they write me an email, for example, to explain to me what happened, they explain all the good times that they used to have with the SP, for example, and how wonderful it was, and how the SP was in love with them, and so forth and so on. But now, it's not the case. I remember when SP used to love me. I remember when we used to have those wonderful moments, blah, 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 which implies that now it's not the case anymore. It's no longer the case. So, unwillingly and unconsciously, when you're doing this, you are using the I remember when technique, but for the wrong thing, against your own desires. And Neville said in this lecture that I encourage you to read that you could use this technique either for good or for bad, either for your desire or against your desire. So the first thing that I want you to do after listening to this video is to stop doing this. Start here. Stop saying, I remember when I had good stuff in my life, which implies automatically by default that now your life sucks. Whether you're talking about the health that you used to have, the money that you used to have, or the SP that you used to have, or anything else. Stop saying, I remember when, which will imply, again, automatically and by default, that you do no longer have those beautiful things. And on the other hand, if you search your memory, we all have had moments, for example, when we were better in our lives and we used to remember when it sucked. We all have had those moments. I'm sure you have had moments like that, even if you are still pretty young. Remembering, wow, I remember when I was in such a trouble. And wow, how relieved I am now that it's over. So basically, when you are using the I remember when technique, this is the feeling that you want to imply. This is what you want your brain to believe. It's remembering the situation that you are now in as a past memory. Remembering how you did not have your desire. Remembering when you did not have your desire. Whatever your desire is. Wow, I remember when I did not have my desire and how it felt. And the more you send the message to your mind, to your brain, that this is just a memory that you remember, but with the relief that now you are no longer in this situation. This is going to trick your brain, to trick your mind into believing that you now have that desire. And you know, it's actually very easy to trick the mind. It's much easier than you think. We trick our minds every day, all the time. We just don't realize that we do. As an example, sometimes we tend to see something that's not even there because we have assumed that it was there. So that's an example of how the mind can be tricked very easily to the point that we may see a shape or form or something that's not even there just because we assumed that it was, and then realizing, oh no, that's not even it. That was my brain playing tricks on me. So it's very easy, guys, to trick the mind, and that's why it's very easy to feel that we have what we want to have, in a way. Even though you may be thinking it's not easy, it is easier than you think because it is kind of easy to trick the mind. So let's say you want to manifest a car. You could say, I remember when I did not have a car, and embodying the feeling that it's no longer the case. Now I have a car. Or you could even say, I remember when I did not have a car just a month ago, and now I have a car. So you don't have to say, now I have a car, but feel that now you have the car. When you say, I remember when I did not have a car just a month ago, implies that you have manifested a car in just a month. Same thing with a relationship. If you want to manifest your SP, I remember when I did not have my SP. You could even say, I remember when I thought I would never be able to manifest my SP back, which implies you finish the phrase in your mind, right? In your mind and in your feelings as well. If you're saying, I remember when I used to think that I could never manifest my SP back, and feel the feeling of, wow, and now I've done it. This is why this technique is very powerful. Because if you do not know to live in the end of your wish fulfilled, this I remember when technique is powerful. Neville Goddard used to talk about the example of his brother Victor, who used to say, I remember when this was an empty lot, because he wanted a big business building instead of that empty lot. And that technique helped Victor Goddard manifest what he wanted, which was a building for his business or something like that. But at some point it was an empty lot. And when it was still an empty lot, he used to say, I remember when it used to be an empty lot, which implied that now there is that huge building or whatever building he wanted to be there instead of that empty lot. And that's how he manifested the building. So no matter what your desire is, if it's health, for example, and you are saying, I remember when I used to be sick, I remember when I used to be this or that, whatever health problem you may have, which implies that now it is gone. Now I'm healthy. Same thing with money. Wow, I remember when I used to not be able to pay my bills. I remember when I used to be so nervous every first of the month, wondering how I was going to pay the bills for the month, and feel the relief. Now all of this is just a memory, because now I can pay my bills. I don't have any worries anymore about paying bills. So this is why the I remember when technique is powerful. If you use it correctly, again, thinking about your current situation, no matter what it is, as a past memory, which will imply the feeling that this is just a memory, therefore I feel the relief that it is done, that it is over, because now I do have my desire instead. And when you do this over and over until you start feeling the relief of your current situation being past, which implies that now you have your desire. If you do this enough time until you truly feel that relief, you are going to be living in the end of your wish fulfilled. And this is why the I remember when technique is so powerful. And this is why I'm not surprised that this technique was a revelation to Neville Goddard, because it is powerful. I hope this was helpful, guys. Please let me know in the comments. Like the video if you liked it, share it. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.